We got our final Monday night doubleheader, and thank goodness. I was a little done with that. I was a little done. I like the doubleheaders. I'm glad. Let's keep them special. Let's keep them rare and just once in a while. And that doubleheader had implications across the NFC. We've got 15-year NFL veteran, Steelers legend Charlie Batch on the show to talk about the biggest game and the biggest stuff for Week 7. And, of course, looking on to Week 8, it's Rodgers up against the Packers in Pittsburgh. We'll get his thoughts on that. And fresh off the massive comeback win against the Giants, we have Broncos Pro Bowl pass rusher Nik Bonitto. We're going to get right to it. Charlie Batch on the show, Nik Bonitto on the show. I love this show. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. NBA action kicking off, of course, the World Series. The Toronto Blue Jays are in the World Series? Yeah? That's insane. Up against the Dodgers? Yeah. Is that true? Didn't know that until this morning. Love that. Used to work for the Cardinals, of course. The Blue Jays came to town very rarely in the Jose Bautista era. So loved that, loved them. That's exciting. So you guys can bet on all sorts of things over on FanDuel Sportsbook, which I believe is back online. And let me tell you, we're going to dip right into the football action here because I sort of tried setting the table for this yesterday going into these two games that we had to wrap up Week 7. This NFC is so crazy good. And the Oscar goes to the NFC. The Packers, they are the #1 seed. Convincingly so? I don't know. 4-1-1. We have 6 teams at 5-2. What could be more fun than that? We have a legit 7 teams that look like they can make a run at the Super Bowl. Are the Bucs among them? Oh! We also have some winds of change. Last night, the Lions have taken over the Packers as faves to win the conference. They are plus 340. Packers second at plus 400. This is anybody's game here, and I love it. As for the actual games last night, let's start with what the Lions did. This was a reminder. We talked about this a long time this morning. I got in bed at 5 p.m. yesterday, watched both of these games. We don't talk about the Lions for some reason. We gave them all their love. Yeah. When a team goes from the pits to the top, I think it should extend beyond just a season. That's my big takeaway. And with the Lions, it's quiet. It's like all of a sudden they're just a contender. It's like they all of a sudden have become like the Steelers. Like they're always just kind of going to be the Niners. They're always going to maybe be in the mix or something. We should give this more love. And what they did last night was say, F you, everybody not talking about us. To everyone, talking more about the Eagles, these Bucs, and this MVP run that Baker has been on that stopped yesterday. They said, we are the absolute class of the NFL right now. There was nothing more impressive maybe in the entire weekend than what this Lions defense did with this maniac defensive coordinator who I told you when I went to camp, Kelvin Shepard was yelling at everyone, saying, what are you smiling about? In the middle of like a dome practice on a Tuesday. This man is a madman. He gets these 4 starters in the secondary are out of the lineup, and he has they were nasty. They were pissed. I don't know what he was telling them about Baker leading into this, but this squad, these relative, I'm going to say unheralded guys that are not household names, were so dominant all over the field against what is one of the most explosive offenses in the league. It was Amik Robertson, okay? Like, Robertson, by the way, who we should be talking about, really is one of the better nickels in the league. Lockdown all night. Huge forced fumble. We're talking about Nick Whiteside this morning. He was playing in the UFL last year, 3 PBUs. He held sensation, rookie, Emeka Egbuka without a catch on 25 snaps they were matched up on. Yeah. Nope, couldn't happen on anybody. And then you have this, it's Arthur Mullet. By the way, he was on the practice squad at this time yesterday. It's insane. You had Aiden, you had Lee McNeil. This pass rush made Baker uncomfortable all night. The pressure was at an 11 out of 10. They can do that. Other teams can do that too. Let that be a lesson to Baker. This Lions team. Unbelievable. And I feel bad. I feel like I need to take some ownership of that. I have not talked about them. Who do they have next? Do they have a bye next? Where are these Lions next? Bye? Okay, they have a bye week now. Okay, who do they have on the other side of that? Vikings. Okay. Easy peasy for them. Vikings will be interesting. They'll have a little. Their Thursday night this week to kick off Week 8 is Vikings at Chargers. These woolly teams. NFC is too close for comfort. So what happened last night with the Baker side of it all? I can't really be that positive about it. Am I still in on them? Yes. People jumping ship? Yes. And I kind of get it. I get why they're getting dragged this morning, or why people are MVP this, MVP. Yeah, that was not good. And there's no other way around it. 5 for 21 against a great team does not a Super Bowl contender make right now. We got to fix some of these things. I think it happened for a reason. That's great. But my gosh, he was 5 for 21 on throws of over 10 yards. These things were sailing a little bit. There were some overthrows. I don't know what's going on. He didn't seem to be handling that pressure from the Lions particularly well. I loved to see I don't know. I didn't like the ref stuff. I didn't like him talking about. There's not much I liked on the Bucs side of things. We now lose Mike Evans, so credit to Light for drafting. I think not a lot of people wanted Emeka Egbuka, but they drafted him, and he's been a revelation, and obviously they're going to need him. Just the credit for just drafting good players and all of that. Yeah, I'm not going to say you are. There's a lot of Twitter comments burying them. I think that makes sense. I don't think it's going to hold up. I think they're going to be fine. I think they got the Saints this week, and I believe they have the Patriots, a nice test against Drake May after that. But this is going to ding his MVP chances. I believe Hamilton, where is he, 4th? No? He slides to 4th? Okay.
Yeah, he's now 4th at plus 900.
That's where he belongs.
Yeah.
That's where he belongs. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Drake May. Like I said, he's got that, I think it's a week 9. No, yeah, a week 9 battle against Drake May. He's got to win against these Saints, got to really bring it back. We got a lot of football to go. I think we'll remember this as a really bad game in October, and maybe one that they need. Maybe one that they need to take and heal up. I'm not going to make excuses, though. Maybe he's a little bit banged up. I know he was banged up walking off the field. I think their bye week probably comes at a great time. Get past New Orleans, big divisional game, got to win that one. Then you got Buffalo. Then you got LA. Those 3 games, 10 through 12, that is your MVP candidacy. This is not like Heisman vibes, okay, people? And Ham, you can join me here. This isn't Heisman world where everything lives and dies on one week, but this was a big spot. They deserve the venom. MVP talk is tough when you're talking about the refs. But I also think Baker doesn't care. I like when Baker's like that. I don't think he cares about the MVP. I said this last week. Did I ever say that he should be number 1 in MVP? Never.
No.
And he shouldn't be. And he belongs in this area because it'll drive them. This negativity, they clearly have to figure some things out. What's the big concern here? I mean, obviously injuries are a concern. Hopefully they can heal up. The big concern is maybe the balance of this team. And he alluded to it. He had a quote in the postgame presser that really had my ears up, saying, when you're passing every play, it's obvious the defense could put its ears back, and it's not fair to the offensive line. And how unbalanced were they?
Yeah, they were bordering on 90% pass in that game, and it wasn't like it was one of these games where they're down 3 touchdowns early and have to, air it out to battle back. They were in this. This is a 1-possession game in the 3rd quarter, so they could have been a little bit more balanced. And again, it's not making excuses because you're going to say, oh, you're an MVP candidate, you should be able to throw it 50 times and win. But the reality of it is, teams that throw 50+ times a game, the record's not good in those games. You have to have some balance. And they did run it okay with Rachaad White. Yes, they missed Bucky Irving, but I do think there's something to that. They got away from it a little too much, and it's something they didn't do a ton last year. Liam Cohen really stuck by that run game last year. It's really important for this team and for this offense to get that going. What happens when he does have this kind of pressure? And they sacked him 4 times, Aiden Barnes, they were all over him. These feisty guys in the secondary, all of that was happening. As far as his footwork, we talked about this a little bit, and what are you seeing there when he does get the works from the defense and Shepard gave them the works? Yeah, there were times you saw a few kind of fadeaway throws in there from him where he's kind of backing out to try to lessen the blow of one of those hits that he was taking. Yeah, there were moments that got a little bit sloppy, but we've seen him handle pressure before and make those throws and stay on point. I don't know exactly why it was worse last night, but it clearly was. He was missing way too many throws. But yeah,
They had a bad night against a
yeah,
really good team,
yeah,
a Super Bowl contender with a defense that isn't getting heralded. So last night, to me,
yeah.
I'm not jumping ship on them. I think it sucks. I think they deserve all the venom until they turn it around, and it's not going to happen against the Saints. It's going to happen against Drake May. It's going to happen against Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen, not in that order, but those later weeks when things start to matter. Momentum matters. I mean, look no further than that Bucs team with Brady and those 7 straight wins about this time. This is when you need to come into form. So maybe this was one of those things that they needed. I do think Baker performs better when he's against the wall. People hate him. I do think that that's the thing. So keep the venom coming. They're going to figure it out. The story of the night, bottom line, plain and simple, is Kelvin Shepherd. This DC deserves his flowers from the entire National Football League and fans this morning. Okay, we've got Charlie Batch on the show. We are going to talk to Nik Bonitto. Oh my gosh, I'm glad it's not in person. He freaks me out. But I want to move on to what happened quickly in Seattle. Okay, defense, unbelievable, tremendous. And by the way, no Devin Witherspoon either. What they were able to do was amazing. But the story again was Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba's chemistry, their connection. I said this last week. I'm going to say it a little louder now that everybody saw them tucked into their beds, almost sick of football. But you couldn't be when you saw what this brought. And it kind of brought the boom. They bring the boom. I did not approve of that lower third. I want to retract that lower third. Nope, pissed about that. This is 8 connections for 123 yards and a score. This is not against a bad defense. This is against Stingley. This is against the Texans secondary. JSN leads. He's the best receiver in the National Football League by all counts, okay? He leads the league in receiving by nearly 200 yards. He's still on pace to break Calvin's record, by the way. He's got the most yards by a Seahawk in a 7-game span in franchise history. He has a chance to best Steve Largent, okay? And that record's by the way standing 40 years. Not just the 100-yard game record, which I think he has 7 or 6. How many does Largent have? Ham?
JSN has 5.
How many does Largent have?
Season. I believe his record is 6.
Okay, so needs 1 more to tie it. He's going to beat Largent's long-standing record. Largent is when you think of stars that come out of Seattle. Largent's the wide receiver you think of. DK had a flash. Other guy, obviously Tyler Lockett's been put your head down, have great games, be the guy. JSN's going to be potentially the best receiver in franchise history. It is you have to really have a personality to pop if you're in that small market. It's just true. And when you have, Richard Sherman, personality and play, pop. Marshawn Lynch, same. But if you're a Bobby Wagner there, you might get the ring, you might get the whatever, but the personality really does have to pop for you to sort of get the national love. I liked seeing him dunk. We showed it a million times there. I liked seeing that. He was getting after the refs in a mic'd up moment earlier this season as well. Keep doing that, JSN. You should be, I want him to get the endorsement deals, and you deserve everything that's coming your way. JSN, because you deserve you need to get the Invisalign love. I need you to get the State Farm love. You be in those we've been asking this question, Hamilton, for years. You have, when it comes to top receivers, you've got 1A, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. There's always this, who's number 3? Is it Cooper? Is it Nico? Is it whatever? We have our answer. It is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Enough of this, he's going to break out. He's having a breaking out rising star. He's a superstar wide receiver. 1,000 yards last year. He's got a different quarterback this year, and he's still doing it with so much defensive coverage. Teams are zoning in on him, and this is the kind I need to see this. So if you're Nike, if you're Under Armour, Adidas, you need to be calling Jackson Smith and Jigba. Look at him. This is a number 1 wide receiver, a star. Great guy, too. I'm such a fan. He was not as... I loved every second of this, against the Cardinals. Watch this.
Oh, we just have the still of the stare.
Oh, okay, got it. He's staring down. Okay, well, I don't... All right, great. He's amazing. He's a superstar. He deserves the love. I think we're going to take a break. Or should we get to the... Is there anything on the Texans side? I don't know. Texans tough. O-line, porous. Got to figure it out. not quite sure what to make of the Texans as they are sitting there at, what, 2-4 now? Ooh! We'll be back here after Charlie Batch, or with Charlie Batch and Nik Bonitto coming up. He has 6 100-yard games larger.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, great. It was on Seahawks.com this morning, I saw.
Yes,
I will also say this, which you brought up in the meeting, and I know everyone probably knows this, but like, we should give love to Darnold, obviously.
Yeah.
Darnold's not going to be. Actually, you know what? Darnold has gotten a lot of people's respect, though. I will say that, and he's getting a little like MVP talk love, which I like to hear. But it's nothing with Darnold. And this is respect. This is like the nod of respect for him. Like, nothing's going to matter until the playoffs. Nothing's going to matter until you're in a Week 18 situation where you're fighting a team to get into the playoffs. Where you're like, we need that game, that big game from you. And he's had a nice, like you went from Justin Jefferson to Jackson Smith and Jigba, not a bad place to be. And let's by the way, let's keep Sam throwing the ball. I don't think I need to see the Cooper Cup throwing the ball experience anymore. It felt very like, the Brits call it wet, like I call it sweaty. Like just very like, were you guys looking in the mirror and practicing that before? It's like it was an ick. It was a football ick. I don't like it.
Yeah,
don't do that.
We didn't need that at that point in the game. You're dominating the game.
We're good. We're good on that. Yeah, that was an ick. That's on my ick list. But I will say that he's been, he had that. I mean, Will Anderson had like a nightmare moment for Sam, and we just, the confidence that the Seahawks have in Sam to after that still say like, let's let it rip. Let's keep throwing. That next play happened, which has been really nice and sort of low-key meaningful, Ham.
Yeah, and the confidence they have in him and the confidence he had to make that throw to JSN, that was one of the best throws we've seen all year. And just to let it rip after a moment, you want to see how is he going to respond to those moments, because those were the kind of things that snowballed on him in the last 2 games last season. Like as soon as one thing went wrong, it kind of kept going on him. So to see him bounce back from that so well, it is encouraging. You're right. It needs to happen in the big moments in the playoffs and all of that. But still, it's good to see like that's not staying with him, at least as it pertains to like a play-to-play basis. What's
this JSN ref thing? I missed it in the meeting, and then it was a still. What is that? What did I miss?
Oh, so during the Cardinals game Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago, he cursed at the ref on a hot mic, and the ref just like stared him down for 5 seconds.
So do we have that, or do we have a still? What did I miss there?
Back stays in. Catches Nate Washington. With Bax throwing to the back of the end zone. Touchdown. Hines Ward. Bax setting up in the pocket. With time down the field for Wallace. Touchdown.
15-year NFL vet, 2-time Super Bowl champ, co-host of the Snap Count, Let's Go, and the Steelers radio post-game show, of course, on WDVE. Charlie Batch, what a year for you. Congratulations, you are a Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Famer. That happened last weekend. What was that like?
Oh, that was awesome. It definitely caught me by surprise, because I did not expect my name to be mentioned with a lot of the greats that were on there, but to be able to see and share the stage with a good friend of mine, Swin Taylor Cash, and you see Sean Casey, who was here, Pittsburgh Zone. So just to see the whole state represented, it was just humbling, and I'm grateful for the nomination committee for selecting me throughout this process. So I'm truly grateful. It's
beautiful. It's well-deserved. And now let's talk some football. I'm sure you watched last night. You watched your Lions. The defense held Tampa to a season low in points, a season low in yards. This is a team that was roaring, the MVP talk for Baker, all of that. Now, Detroit's offense always explosive. When their D plays this well, and it's these like guys who were on practice squad yesterday, what does that tell you?
That lets me know their depth is solid as can be. And one thing you always pride yourself on when you're in locker rooms, especially when you know you have good teams, you always say we have starters and we have starters in waiting. And everybody expected the weakness to come in the secondary, but those guys showed up in a big way. And Arthur Millette, I know his time in Pittsburgh, he did a lot of good things while he was here. And to see him actually go out there and make some of those plays, man, it was just truly great to see him go out there and ball and have some fun.
Somehow the Packers are still, as of this morning on FanDuel Sportsbook, do we have the odds for the NFC? Packers are still number 1. I don't know about that. What do you make of that? The Lions are, they're 5-2. They're plus 340 right now. What do you think?
Yeah, that's one of the ones where you're like, nobody wants to tie a game, but then you're like, wait a minute, that actually benefits us in the standings as they're sitting at the tops of the division. And I've only had one tie throughout the course of my career, so I know how that impacts you. But again, a lot of it's going to be told here, especially on Sunday night. You have a big game between the Packers and the Steelers, and either there's somebody going to show up and be the contender, and one's going to be the pretender. So this is going to create separation between this game. But you have to give credit to the NFL, the schedule makers. They had this one circled, and it's proven to be a big game here.
This is going to be so fun, this game. Obviously, I was already thinking about it last week and asking guests about it. When you look at that, as far as even just the familiarity, the emotions of that, what's the first thing Charlie Batch thinks about when it's Packers and Steelers in Pittsburgh to kick off Week 8?
Well, there's two things. The two things that come to mind. One is in 2009 when it was Ben Roethlisberger versus Aaron Rodgers, and the game went all the way down to the wire, and that was Ben's first 500-yard game as he hit Mike Wallace for the touchdown with no time on the clock. That was a phenomenal game. And, of course, the second one I can remember, but I try not to, only because that happened in Super Bowl 45 where the Packers ended up knocking us off and now against Aaron Rodgers. And that was a tough one to take, only because we knew they were going to break that team up. And ultimately, that's what the Steelers organization did. And one thing about Pittsburgh is if you don't win a Super Bowl, they do not even acknowledge you nor celebrate your accomplishments of making it to the Super Bowl. So that's always a tough one, even though we're approaching almost 15 years from that game.
Are you worried about these Steelers?
I am. There's some concern, but there's things that are correctable. And for me, it's communication. And the thing that's happening in big moments in the fourth quarter, and you go back to the Ireland game against the Vikings, big play, they needed to make something happen, but yet defensively they weren't on the same page. They busted coverage, and Jordan Addison is running down the field scot-free. That was the play that Peyton Wilson actually tackled him on the 1-yard line. Now, they escaped that with a victory. That's fine. But ultimately, these things are creeping in here now because, again, at the end of the game against the Bengals on Thursday night, yes, we understand T. Higgins making that catch at the end of the game and sliding, but the play that happened beforehand, miscommunication, busted coverage, and Jamar Chase is running from the defense's right to left, and he's running scot-free, getting the Bengals in the field goal range. So it's just tough. So they have to clean those things up in a hurry. I
think I'm with you that it's fixable because they just have too much talent to be as bad as they are. If I look at the numbers of it, right, they are 31st. That is crazy. 31st on defense. I will say this, though. It's not like it's week 2. We're going into week 8, and it's not fixed. So what's the problem?
Yeah, and a lot of people go back, and if you remember Mike Tomlin's comments during training camp, and he said, I truly believe that this defense can be historical. And right now, they're nowhere near that. And like you mentioned, they're at the bottom of the league. And a lot of that stemmed from their first-round draft pick at the beginning of the season, Derek Harmon not being there. That's why teams were rushing on them. They started to see an uptrend over the past few weeks, but then all of a sudden we see the Bengals rushing for 142 yards throughout the course of that game. And that's just something that cannot happen, especially when you have a defense that is going to pride themselves on stopping the run, and that did not happen.
When you say it's communication, we're saying these things aren't happening, and they're clearly too talented. I'm just going to ask you point blank, like, what needs to happen with the DC? What does the DC need to do, Terrell Austin?
But number one is making sure that he's getting all of his pieces back because he has not had the full complement of this defense since the season has started. Now he's starting to kind of trend that direction. They did have a bye 2 weeks ago. You have a mini bye that you had over the weekend. But for this team right now, they cannot afford any more injuries because if for them to get to where they want to get to, which is the number 1 seed in hosting playoffs here at Acrisure Stadium, they have to play 10 consecutive games. And with that, you have to have some type of luck on your side. If that happens, I can see them slowly but surely getting to where they want to get to. But again, they have to prove that on a week-to-week basis, especially when you see the emergence of Lamar Jackson being healthy and people still sense that Baltimore has a chance in this division if they get everything healthy. So again, Terrell Austin, he has to just make sure the full complement, don't overthink things. If you need to simplify it because of those corners and get the basic covers and then start growing off of that, that's one thing. But they all just have to get on the same page. So I think Terrell is going to be okay. It's just a matter we just need to make sure we see that week to week.
Oh, we got to start seeing it week in, week out at this point of the season. It's the headlining game, right? It's the Sunday night treatment, all the hoopla. We know why. It all has to do with Aaron Rodgers. Charlie, if they don't throw the ball deep all over the field in this game, I'm going to be out on the Steelers, I think. I cannot believe, and I understand Arthur Smith and maybe that's more his vibe or whatever. When you have Rodgers and DK, you cannot be bottom 5 in explosive passes. I refuse to subscribe to that. Why not, and what do you want to see?
DK is as advertised. There's no question about that connection, what you're seeing with Aaron Rodgers and DK. The challenge is defensively, they don't respect the number 2 receiver. And because of that, you have Calvin Austin. He should be back from injury this week, we're hoping. And then Roman Wilson has not showed that trajectory of what they would like to be from a number 2 receivers. And, of course, earlier this offseason, they ended up getting rid of George Pickens, who was having a monster year down in Dallas. And you would love to have that on this offense, but unfortunately he's not here. But when you look at just what George Pickens is doing as the number 2 receiver, he has 36 catches, 607 yards, 6 touchdowns. But then when you look at the receiver group as a whole for the Steelers, they have 38 catches, 612 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So that just lets you know you let a piece walk out that door, but now that receiver group outside of DK has to step up in a big hurry if you are going to now soften up some of those defenses. Should
they have let that piece out the door?
I don't think they should. And the reason why is because they paired George Pickens up with arguably the worst coordinator in the history of the NFL. And I'm not throwing shade. The numbers are what they are. And then so he lost more games in Pittsburgh than he ever lost in his career. And he had a bad rap. And he didn't know how to lose. And I'm okay with that. And now you're seeing him showcase in an offense that are now throwing the football around on what his skills are. And ultimately, he's going to get a huge contract, whether that's in Dallas or elsewhere, because this guy can flat out play.
He's the perfect fit for Aaron Rodgers. Because when Aaron Rodgers is letting it rip, we're seeing 70-yard throws. Like, don't tell me Aaron can't do it, because he did it and he can. I think there's a world, and I've talked about this on the show, and I get a lot of pushback. They could have made it happen with both. They could have brought in DK and kept George. I think there's a lot of people who are like, well, they got rid of George because they brought in DK and it was more like a safer choice or like what. No, there's a world where y'all could have had both, and I do think the team's struggling without that second guy. So that said, Charlie Batch, legendary Steelers QB, who are we trading for?
That part I don't know. And I agree with you when you make the comment they could have kept George. There's 100% because you still had him 1 year on his rookie contract.
For your Super Bowl
then you
run.
worry as he walking out the door, then you worry about your compensatory picks. That's fine. But again, that there's a hole that they have to fix. Don't know what they're thinking about within the Steelers organization. All we know is for 2 years, we have heard the Steelers potentially trading for a number 2 receiver. It didn't happen last year, and now we're continuing on those conversations. So again, on the national stage, hopefully one of those guys outside of DK can showcase around the country of what they're capable of and then not eliminate this conversation.
I think they're going to trade because I think they're going to make a trade. I'm going to show you some targets here. By the way, I should add Tyler Lockett to this. He was released. So he's available. Out of these guys, plus the additional Tyler Lockett, who do you think they should get? Name one.
Oh, man. If I had to guess off of all of those, and you're not talking contracts or money, I would say Jordan Addison. And the reason why I say Jordan Addison is because he did spend a year at the University of Pittsburgh before he ended up finishing out at USC. So they're familiar with his game, and I could see something like that potentially happening. But again, a lot of that comes to the fact of how much do you have to give up, because right now the Steelers are stacking draft picks. So you don't want to give up the farm to get whoever that number 2 receiver is. So I think if that comes with some type of bargain, then maybe that move happens.
Love that. The Best of Batch Foundation, want to get to that before you go. It's been going on, like 26 years, I think. Unbelievable. It's the first thing I think of when I see you, which is crazy because you're so passionate about it. And you have your 16th annual In the Pocket with Charlie Batch fundraiser on November 13th. What do we need to know? I know you guys built that new clubhouse. It's like 1 million square feet for the community.
No, it is exciting. So, yes, we actually just expanded. We went from 5,300 square feet to 33,000 square feet, which we opened up April of 2024. So we are excited to showcase that off, as you can see on the screen here. But ultimately what we do is we have one fundraiser a year. We call that In the Pocket with Charlie Batch. It's a pool, poker, ping pong, and this year we are adding cornhole tournament to the equation.
Nice.
And this helps raise money for our STEAM programs. And we say STEAM instead of STEM because we include the A for arts. And also OST, which is out of school time. This is a challenging time as kids is let it out of school and what are they doing prior to families getting home. So that OST time is very critical during that time. So again, this helps raise funds for this particular program. And again, we are super excited. It's going to be Thursday, November the 13th, and we are doing it at the Distillery Complex here in Pittsburgh. So we're super excited to showcase off that event. So if anybody wants more information about that, they can go to batchfoundation.org. You'll be able to see it again. That's batchfoundation.org. You'll be able to be a part of it at some point. So if you can't be there physically, we will actually have an auction online that people around the country can participate in. So we are just truly grateful and humble for everybody who believes in the mission and vision of the Best of the Batch Foundation. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who supports us.
And thank you for everything that you do to support the community. It looks unreal, this clubhouse. The photos, the images, it's absolutely unreal. So appreciate all the work that you do with the foundation. And of course, you can catch Charlie Batch on the Snap Count, the Steelers radio postgame show on WDVE and KDKA TV in Pittsburgh. You are a busy man all season long. Good luck to your Steelers.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And when you get to Pittsburgh, you got to come past for a visit. We love the show.
I would love
and give it a tour.
Thanks for the invite. Now you're smiling, but you wouldn't be smiling if you were still on the field with this next guest. We have Nik Bonitto, an elite pass rusher in the upper echelon, the elite group of dudes who make quarterbacks' lives hell this Halloween season and always. Nik Bonitto on the show after this. Not to mention one of my favorite Twitter follows in the league this year.
Absolutely.
Jordan Addison, how is that a trade target? Get out of here. That's a trade
His
target?
name has been rumored.
No way.
It's hard to see that. It's hard to see them. It's going to cost a lot, to his point. Like, I think that would be the most expensive of those.
That is like,
as far as,
who do you want to date? Michael B. Jordan or Ryan Gosling? Like, oh, I'm going to be Louis Pick. Like that, that's a dream. There's no way that happens.
Yeah, that's probably the most unlikely of that list to get moved.
Yeah.
The other three I could definitely see getting moved.
They should have kept George. That's all I wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
Like, and there's just, well, they couldn't keep George. Yes, you could have. I don't know, like, all the numbers, but don't play that game with me. I could look him up. You could have kept him.
Absolutely. And I'm glad to hear somebody like that's, plugged in with that team say it because, like, there's this idea that the personalities, whatever, Tomlin, whatever, no, you could have kept him. You could have made this work.
They're too good to be to not be better than they are right now. They're going to figure it out, I think. I can't believe we have Nik Bonitto on the show. He kind of scares me.
I know.
He intimidates me.
We've been watching this for a couple of years now. I'm excited.
I know. Do you think he sees, like, the love?
I hope so.
We've been on it. If you're listening, Bonitto, we've been on it. Okay. He's like one of the people that I would want to trade places with for a day. Like to be like, if I could like be somebody in a game.
Yeah.
If I could like Oda Mae Brown myself, into something like for the day. Him, Danielle Hunter.
Yeah.
I don't think any quarterback. I would never want to be a quarterback or any offensive piece, really. I'd want to just destroy
or a
people.
punt returner. Yeah.
No, I would want to just like brute force someone.
Yeah. Trent Williams. Yeah.
No, I don't think I'd want to be Trent Williams.
No.
No, I'd want to just like, no. I wouldn't want to be a DB. No, I think Bonitto's the move.
Yeah.
I'd want to be a Bonitto, or like a, Danielle Hunter would be fascinating to me. I would just run around going boo. It's funny because I think you think that I would want like the glory moment of like a touchdown or something. I don't. I want none of that. I won't even like
that
bowl.
does not,
I won't even like bowl in front of people. Like I don't want any eyes on me ever. But to get to
that does not surprise me at all.
Shit out of somebody who sounds fantastic. Okay. People pay to go to those like rooms where you break printers and stuff with a baseball bat.
Nik Bonitto leading the way. Here they come, Bonitto! Like a torpedo! Double
next guest, 2024 Pro Bowler, second-team All-Pro linebacker, due a first-team All-Pro. Just saying, with the Denver Broncos, fresh off of this incredible fourth quarter against the Giants. Nik Bonitto, has the adrenaline even come down from this game? And welcome to the show. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And it's still kind of crazy thinking about it. It kind of looked like we were just, done for at the time. And, we all just looking at each other on the bench like, damn, like, is this really happening? And, we just kind of kept playing and, it ended up working out the way it did. So. Yeah,
I think we had some footage of it, of this fourth quarter to sort of jog your memory, though. What is like the moment that you realized what was happening?
Once we kind of got that first stop and then, RJ scored, I think they threw him something for a touchdown. I'm like, all right, like, we actually back in it now. And then even after the pick, really, that's when I was like, all right, this is like a real game now. So, we just kind of kept battling. We didn't know what the result was going to be. And Coach kind of even told us all week, we're not looking at, the scoreboard. We're just going to keep playing and, just let the results fall where they may. So.
Okay, but I'm looking at the scoreboard, and I'm worried if, my health is at play here. As a fan looking at, how this goes, what changed? I've been struggling with this for the past 24 hours. What happened? What flipped? Was it a conversation? Was it an adjustment? A tweak? How do you get, how do you spark that thing?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you, one specific thing that, made it a comeback or, made us to believe. I just think our coaches just did a good job of, telling us to finish the fight, just continuously not trying to look at the scoreboard, just keep trying to play. And we just kept making plays and, kept, doing the things that we needed to do to win the game. And, offense did great. Defense, made stops when we needed to. So, I'm just proud of the effort from all the guys for real.
Coach said that it was not going to be pleasant yesterday. How unpleasant was that? Paint me that photo.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because obviously, through 3 quarters of football, it was really bad, for the whole team. And, he definitely let us hear about that. But at the same time, he was real proud of our fight and stuff like that. So, obviously, we're happy we got the win and stuff, but he kind of painted the bigger picture where we still have a lot of things we got to correct to be the team that we want to be. So,
what does he think you have to? What do you have to correct, Bonitto? I don't know. I feel like you helped collapse the line a few times and help get sacks for other people. So, I don't know.
No, there's always things. Obviously, in my game, I feel like I still have room to grow. Whether it's learning how to handle chips and double teams and stuff like that, and even just, taking myself, out of the game, a lot of times where it's I got to be a lot better in coverage, I got to be, perfection, and, a lot of these things just so, the margin of error isn't that big. So just trying to continuously, grow in my game in all facets is really important.
I don't even know what that's going to look like when you improve because you have these 8 sacks through 7 games. Congratulations. You were on pace to set a new career high. All-pro season last year. Which is absolutely amazing. Is something clicking for you, something different for you this year?
Yeah, I would probably say, just watching other guys around the league and kind of taking bits and pieces from their game. I feel like a lot of the guys that I watched this offseason, obviously, my boy Brian Burns, I watched him a lot. Jonathan Grenard, guys, that kind of have that similar build and just trying to see, how they've been able to make plays in this league and, see how I can, put that into my game and how to be a better player. I feel like it's really helped me a lot.
There's a 4-letter phrase that keeps coming up when I Twitter search your name. Do you know what it is?
Talk to me.
DPOI. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
It's still a lot of season left. Obviously it would be a huge honor to be even mentioned in that type of stuff, but I just got to keep trying to take it one, week at a time. Obviously, I'm off to a great start, but like I said, I feel like I could still be so much better. And time will tell with that, but I just got to keep it 1 week at a time.
Is that weird? Because it's Surtain's there, he won it. So there's this cool thing where it's sure, that'd be cool that you guys would be the first pair of teammates to win DPOY in back-to-back seasons. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis did it, by the way, in 2003, 2004. But that's you're also competing against him,
Yeah, no, 100%. Pat, he's one of the best defensive players in the game. Obviously, from what he did last year and even what he's continuing to do this year. So it'd be a huge honor to be in talks with a guy like that. The guy I see come work every day and dominate every game day. So it's going to be interesting to see for sure.
So in this game, Bo had these 4 total touchdowns in the fourth quarter, which is so insane. He was like, I didn't even know that I did that, like whatever that was going on. Third straight week, he's let a fourth quarter comeback to win it. What do you notice about him in those moments?
Shoot, that Bo's a dog. I mean, when you look at it, man, he lives for those type of moments, man. He's came big for us, 2 times this year already in the clutch like that. And, when it's time to let Bo cook, man, he's been doing his thing. So, I'm proud of him. I know the team is. And, I know this is only the beginning for him, man. I know he's going to continue to get so much better, as his career gets along. So I'm proud of him, man. He's for sure a dog.
When you looked at your phone, how many tweets, like when you guys were still 19 zip, like how many tweets were you getting from the New York area? And what did they look like?
I'm not gonna lie, it was gonna be bad for me. I was probably gonna delete all social media if we ended up losing. Oh man, yeah, like it was getting a whole bunch of DMs, a whole bunch of mentions, and yeah, I gotta give it to them. They got a strong fan base. They protecting their team and stuff like that.
Do comments and feedback drive you? What does that do to you? Does it gas you up a little bit? What is that like? What's your relationship with like social media and commentary and stuff like that? Does it get you going? It feels like it might.
Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention to the positive stuff at all, actually.
Really?
Yeah. When I see
That's why I like you. That's why we get along. I just go straight to the bad stuff. That's hilarious.
Yeah. No, the bad stuff definitely fuels me, and it kind of just makes me put in the work even harder. That there's a lot of people that may say nonsense or doubt me or whatever, but it just keeps me going and keeps me grounded at the same time.
This wasn't even your first double-digit comeback by this team, but I think it's good to have these kind of situations. It like shows like everybody what you're made of. I can imagine what that does in that building as well. When I think back to the last double-digit comeback against Philly, Nick, you're a dog. Like, it was so crazy. Let's talk through this. You were the one that got it going. You get this sack on Jalen Hurts, Fly Eagles Fly celebration. Take me through this.
Yeah, so obviously, I ended up getting the sack, and that's kind of something I already had planned going into the game. But what I didn't have planned is we'd be down 17-3 at the time. So at the time, I'm like, damn, this could be really bad trolling right here since we're down so much. But I mean, it ended up working out with how we came back and won the game, and it's kind of like a good moment for me now that we ended up winning. So
with the celebration, there was a lot of talk about. That's why I'm asking like what your relationship is with like agitating or creating those atmospheres. Like you knew that was going to not go over well.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm all for trolling. I'm the biggest troller there is. I always tell all my friends. So, I kind of have those type of ideas going into the game when it comes to, trolling fans and stuff like that. So.
How does that go over? Like, do you do it? Does it light a fire under the other guys as well? I think every team, needs that guy who's willing to do that. And when you're down 17-3, that's a little wild to do.
Yeah, I mean, one of my teammates actually, he told me during the game, Malcolm Roach, he was like, man, you were the one that started it with that celebration.
You were. You spearheaded the whole thing, Bonitto.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was good that, I'm kind of seeing in that light for that game. I was the fire starter. But, I mean, we have so many type of guys like that on our team. So, I mean, I just happened to be the one that game.
How did Jalen take that? I think you guys were teammates.
Yeah, we were. We don't really talk that much, honestly, though. He's kind of like a guy that's, kind of to himself from, all that I've known him. But he's always been a good dude, since I've been with him at OU. So
trolling doesn't work on Jalen, does it?
No, he's always kind of the serious guy anyway, so I don't think I'll have much of a reaction from him.
I've talked about you a lot, and I think that you belong. I know that you belong in the conversation, in the same conversation as Miles, as Aiden, who had a beautiful sack last night on Baker. How do you see that? Do you feel like you have more to achieve to get into that group? Do you feel like you should be talked about as what you are, which is an elite pure pass rusher in the National Football League?
Yeah, obviously, those guys are doing great things right now. And, when you're talking about, just how many years they stack together with Miles, the TJs of the world, I mean, it's hard to even try to put myself in that conversation right now. But, I feel like as the player that I'm becoming to be and the one I know I can be as well and down the line, I definitely feel like I could get there, but that's all with just hard work and just continuously trying to get better at the different things that they have to deal with on a daily basis. So
I'm trying to think like what you had 13.5 career high last year. What's going to do that for you? Like in the world, in the way that people like to talk, I think it's 20. I think you might get 20.
Yeah, I mean, 20 is a tall task.
I know.
I definitely, that's something that I definitely feel like I can do, one of these days in my career. But, I just got to keep it, at the same time, 1 week at a time, just keep trying to stack up these weeks. And, if the sacks come, the sacks come. But just continuously trying to do whatever helps the team win.
You got Mahomes coming up. I see that's a 3-sack game in and of itself. I like this for you. I like what this season has to do and what your goals are. And I like that you're not saying I'm the man. You want to get better. That's what I'm hearing. You want to be driven to be better. And you like the negative talk. So me lauding you with compliments isn't going to go very well.
No. If you want to get me going, just keep talking trash to me.
Yeah, you suck, Bonitto. Do better. Really? Just 8 sacks in 7 games or whatever it is? You don't even have double-digit sacks yet through 7 weeks?
All right,
what a loser. You're a loser, Bonitto. What is something that really what's the comment you hear that you're most pissed by? What gets you?
The biggest thing is probably when I see oh, he can't play the run. It's do y'all even watch film sometimes? And it just kind of pisses me off. So
yeah,
that stuff just drives me and makes you just want to keep going and work harder in the weight room, work harder when it comes to studying run game tape and stuff like that. So
I love that. Maybe we'll do that against the Cowboys. Dak's been playing out of his mind. They're running the ball pretty well, very well as well. He's an MVP candidate. What are you watching? Or what are you seeing that maybe is making him so successful? Obviously, he's got great receivers, great team.
Yeah, just watching the tape these last couple of days, he's obviously a great thrower of the football, man. He's not afraid to take chances with his guys. When you have a great player like CD, obviously what George is doing over there, the tight end Ferguson, they have a lot of weapons on the outside that, he trusts and that can go make plays for him. So, when you have a connection like that on the outside and have a guy that's not afraid to throw it, it's a great thing. So, they definitely got a great thing going over there. It's going to be a tall task for us this week.
You're going to get to stop the run, though, against a former teammate, yeah? Javonte?
Yeah, we obviously been playing with Javonte for a long time now. I was with him for 3 years, and I know he's a guy that's hard to tackle. So we're definitely going to have a good game plan for him. Make sure we got a lot of hats to him because he's a great runner of the ball for sure.
How come Dak's avoiding these sacks in your eyes? I'm looking at the numbers. Only 3 in the last 4 games. How's he avoiding that?
Yeah, people don't realize just how athletic he is, too. Obviously he has a great feel for the pocket. He's been in the league for a long time, so he knows, how to maneuver and stuff. But just his ability to escape and, being able to still make plays down the field is the more underrated part about his game. So we just got to really rush him the right way, and I feel like we usually do a good job of that.
Love that. What does Halloween look like in the Sean Payton Broncos world?
I don't know what he's doing, but I know the players we'll have a little something
really?
As far getting dressed up and just all getting together, having a good time. So that would be that.
What's the most fun you have with the team? I obviously love and am obsessed with Sean Payton. So the idea of the celebrating, but it's going to be unpleasant. How long was the celebration for the win? Did it happen at all?
Yeah, and it's funny enough, is because we're in the locker room and he had a little straight face on. I told him, it's okay to smile, bro. We just came back from a crazy win, and he immediately started laughing after that. But that's why he's one of the best coaches. You're continuously trying to find ways to get better. Obviously he's happy with a win, but he's never satisfied, and you can always respect that type of stuff when it comes to him. So.
You get a lot of love. You're getting the DPOY love. You hate it. I think you suck. So you don't belong in that conversation at all. Who is someone that you'd like to give a little love to on that defense, even the offense, that you think deserves a little more national media attention?
Defensively, I probably have to go with Jonathan Cooper and John Franklin Myers. Those two guys are crazy underrated to me, and it's kind of crazy that they don't get more respect that they do. The stuff that they're able to do both in the run and the pass rush game, it's really impressive. And when you talk about Cooper especially, he's probably the best run defender in the league. And I feel just watching him every day and watching other guys around the league and him being able to do both, it's really impressive.
I think it's impressive how Vance has y'all dialed up, and then so many of you have sacks. It's relentless. I think he doesn't get enough love for what he's done.
No, exactly. And he's always just dialing up different stuff, and we'll be going through the week and we'll be losing our minds, being dang, all these exotic pressures, we dropping, we rushing. But I mean, you go and look on Sundays, and it's like, damn, we have 9 sacks against the Jets. So it's like, you can't really argue with his results, man. You just got to study the film, and that's it.
It's a lot. You guys are putting in hard work. You are a Super Bowl contender. Last one for you. You got the Jackson Dart experience, the Cam Scatterbo experience. What do you make of Jackson Dart? Was it what you thought going into it on tape, or does he have a little extra something? What were your impressions?
Yeah, I have to give him credit. He's a lot better than, we all thought that, he was when we played against him. He was obviously a really good player, coming into the game, but I feel like his feel for the game and his, ability to be able to maneuver the pocket and make plays on the run. And we even had a plan for it all week to be able to, have eyes on him and rush him the right way. And he was still able to go around and make plays. So, I was really impressed with him, and I know, as years goes on, he's going to be a really good player, man. He's definitely going to be something, we're going to have to watch out for in the league.
Love that. Okay, you are going to do your thing against the Cowboys. Good luck to you. Good luck down the stretch. I'm going to have to get out to a game, and I love that you brought up your run stopping, because it is something that is not talked about enough. How good you are, how elite you are at that. So appreciate you, Nik Bonitto. Nice to meet you. I'll see you on Twitter.
Appreciate you.
See ya.
Yeah, see ya.
By the way, he had a huge run stop against the Giants. I don't know if he hears me. I saw that. He did.
He's not going to want to hear that. He only wants to hear it.
Oh, yeah, he sucks, Scott. He's well, it's just the worst.
Oh.
Just the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Aye.
Yeah, I honestly think he should have been, hopefully he's not listening and hearing good things, but he should have been in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation last year, too.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't give him enough, I know we gave him love, but I want to be more specific on love next time. I feel like we do such a good job of that. But I like that we went back to the Philly play. That was good.
Yeah, I'm glad he admitted,
What?
that was the turning point, because I remember we were talking about that morning. Yeah,
well, only a lunatic does that when they're down so much. But look what he said about Bo. That's not a cooked.
Yeah.
I love that he said, Sean, smile. Can you imagine? But that's Nik has balls, because who would say? I would say that.
Yeah. Not
me.
I'm
an idiot.
Yeah.
But who's going to be smile? We just won.
Yeah.
And coach needs that.
Yeah.
That's the coach needs that. Deserves that.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah. Seems like he took it a little easy on him, though.
What?
Seems like he took it a little easy on him, though, yesterday.
What do you mean?
After the, the talk of unpleasantness, it didn't sound like it was too bad. A little disappointed.
Yeah, he did seem that way.
Yeah.
Do they? I don't know enough. Do they do this? Do they celebrate like we know that coach can celebrate?
That's a good. We haven't really seen it as much out of. We used to get those videos of the Saints locker room. We haven't seen it from them. It's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I was thinking that when I was like, what does that look like in the locker room?
Yeah.
Maybe he's there's a reason for everything. That we know.
Look at how bad he's beaten, but he just keeps fighting, gets that one hand up there.
Atta Boy. Launching it. A.J. Brown is loose, and A.J. Brown has it.
Atta Boy. Pump knocked up in the air. Who's got it? The Colts do. Big man pick.
Atta Boy.
Time to give you our top 3 players who I frankly think deserve a little more love for what they did and pulled off in one of the many games on many different nights and days and early mornings of football action. At number 3, Atta Boy to Devontae Smith. Heisman winner, Eagles star receiver. A lot's been made of Jalen and A.J. Brown connecting for 100 yards and 2 scores. Do not forget what Devontae did. 9 catches, $183. The 79-yard for a score you're looking at right here. Atta Boy in the neon cleats. Big catch after big catch down the stretch. I don't feel like we talk about him like we should. When everything goes on in Philly, he's like the forgotten, quiet child, like the middle child who does their homework and goes to sleep and reads a book. He's currently 7th in the league in receiving. He is a top 10 receiver. By the way, consistency, hardest thing to do, top 10 over 4 years, okay? That's hard to do, and we should be talking about him that way. At number 2, I love J.C. Horn. He's elite. Panthers corner had himself a day. One of the and it's up, and what happened? Oh my gosh, a beautiful interception. Beautiful. Sorry to Mr. Taylor. This was a one-hander, though, back of the end zone. If that wasn't enough, he did it again to Tyrod. 4th quarter, Atta Boy. I like seeing him thriving. This is what he is capable of. And these moments matter, and they'll sort of build and hopefully do something. I mean, speaking of building, Panthers have won 3 straight. They're 4-3, and that's helping. His little pop plays, and they've got Josh Allen this week. No Bryce Young there on the other side of the ball as well. And how about Micah Parsons? Atta Boy. Atta Boy. It wasn't just the 3 sacks, okay? It was the context, the timeliness of every play he made in this win over the Cardinals. First one came on 3rd and goal to force field goal, then in a tie. Then 4th quarter, he smacks Jacoby Brissett. Poor Jacoby. And then he sacks him on the very next play to force another field goal. He sacked Jacoby again, by the way, with 27 seconds left, as we all saw, to ice the game, making his presence known. Much needed. He bailed this team out. If they had lost, woo, that would be a bad thing. But now they're the class and tops of the NFC going into Week 8. We'll be back. Those are our Attaboys. Hit us up on Twitter. See you later.